So recently I made a video about the new 2DS. If you want to watch that video, I will put a link down in the description below. But in that video, I kept bashing the new 2DS XL. I kept saying there's no point of it. It's not good. What's the point? I kept bashing it through and through the whole video. But in this video, I actually want to give you my full final thoughts on this system and break down everything and be as honest as I can with you guys. Now, if you're not aware, Nintendo just announced the new 2DS XL. What is the system? It's essentially a new 3DS XL without the 3D, so it has the same processing power like the new 3DSs. It also has amiibo support. It also has all the new buttons. It basically is the exact same thing without the 3D slider. So if you want a new 3DS, you can go with the new 2DS and you'll get all the same stuff except minus the 3D effect. Also, it does have the same screen size as the 3DS and new 3DS XL, 3DS XL and new 3DS XL. Sorry, the problem here with Nintendo's 3DS line, they make so many names, it starts getting confusing once you start trying to remember which one you want. Do I want a 2DS, a new 2DS, a new 3DS, 3DS? You can see this is so hard to remember all these names. I will admit the names of these systems are just bonkers. It makes no sense and they're just really confusing. Now, the system will launch on July 28th for a suggested retail price of $150 US, and it will come with 2 Nintendo games the same day that are launching, that are going to be exclusive to the 3DS. One's going to be Miitopa, and one's going to be a Hey Pikmin. So new games are rolling out. Along also this year, coming out next month, is going to be the new Fire Emblem Echoes exclusively to the new, exclusively to the 3DSs. Is this product for me? No, this product is not for me, just because once you switch to the Switch, it's hard to switch back to the 3DSs. You get it? It's actually a pun right there, but yes, it is actually really hard, because if you ever play the Switch, you'll know how gorgeous it is in handheld mode, and you'll know how gorgeous it is on the TV, so there's really no point of going back unless you gotta play the latest and greatest 3DS games, whether it be Fire Emblem or Pokemon, because hey, the new Pokemon franchise is still on there. The latest Pokemon games are still on the 3DS. Now, who is this device actually targeted for? Is it targeted for kids? You would think it might be targeted for kids who don't really care about the latest and greatest, and they don't care about the latest 3DS either. The new 3DS XL, they just want to water down 2DS XL without the 3D, but that is not the case. If you look at Nintendo's announcement trailer, it'll show young adults and it'll show kids in that trailer, so I don't really know who they're targeting, but I think they're targeting people who either don't want to Switch or cannot afford a Switch and don't really care. They just want to throw $150 out and don't really feel too guilty about spending $150. One thing I really do like about this whole situation is I am glad Nintendo did announce it now instead of announcing it at E3 or announcing it in some kind of Nintendo Direct, because we all know in the past with the Wii U, Nintendo's been struggling, and they cannot struggle anymore. They don't want to go bankrupt, or they don't want to close down and things like that. I think Nintendo's strategy should be right now just focus on games, and more games. So at E3, there's no point of actually showing us that system. Also, no showing it at E3 either, just because, think about it, it's not a new system we're looking at. We're actually talking about another 3DS in the 3DS family, so showing it at E3 wouldn't make too much sense, just because everyone's expecting mostly Switch stuff. An announcement of an old system, which is technically not new. Yes, it has new in the name, new 2DS XL, but come on, it's still playing 3DS games, so no point of showing it at E3. I think they really did the right job just by secretly announcing it randomly in the wild one day in an announcement trailer and being done with it and then moving on. Does it mean that the 3DS has a long life ahead of it? No, it does not mean it has a long life ahead of it. This is not the first time we've seen a company release an older system when a new system's out. Think about Sony. Sony has released a PS1 when the PS2 was out. They released a really small PS1. Same thing with the PS3. They've had lots of iterations of the PS3. Also, Xbox actually released an Xbox 360 Slim when the Xbox One was out. Was it actually smaller than the original Xbox 360 S or Xbox 360 Slim? No, not really, but they still did it anyway, so they wanted to ensure people that the 360 wasn't dead. And that's pretty much what Nintendo is doing now. They're pretty much reassuring, hey, 3DS owners, we know that there's about 60 million units out in the wild right now. Let's throw this out and tell people, hey, you know when you buy some kind of 3DS system that we're still going to support it at least another year to 2 years. And honestly, Nintendo at this point can't just chop the 3DS line. They got to support it for at least a year or a year and a half down the road. Because if they were to chop it right now, that would just be like telling people, hey, screw you guys. We don't care about you anymore. We're listening to Switch. You either get the Switch now or you don't play any new Nintendo games. And I think Nintendo is definitely doing the right thing by telling people, hey, even though you may not want the 2DS or you don't buy the 2DS, we're giving a signal out that means, hey, 3DS owners, whatever 3DS you have, we'll be supporting the 3DS through thick and not thick and thin, but we'll be supporting the 3DS in the near future. So don't worry, don't feel like you're pressured to own a Switch. The good thing about the new 2DS as well, it looks like it's gonna have the same power, so it will play the exclusive Xenoblade and some of the Pokemon that has frame rate issues, Pokemon Sun and Moon, and also the Zelda Heroes, the Dynasty Warriors ripoff that Zelda made. It'll play a little bit more smoothly on the 2DS XL as well. One thing I really wished, or I don't understand at all, I don't understand why Nintendo is releasing it now in July of 2017 when the Switch is actually already out on the market. I think the best thing they would have done to actually get a lot of money out of it, because how many more are they actually selling now since there's, let's see, around 60 million units already out in the wild. It's going to be a hard seller too, and it's also going to be a hard seller just due to the fact that we know the Switch is out, and the Switch is doing phenomenal right now, and we all know that. So it is going to be a hard seller for Nintendo, but I think Nintendo is aware that they're throwing this out in the wild. They know it's not going to sell amazing. They're just trying to get some extra cash, and they know that the 3DS line sells well, so it's just extra money in their bank. But I really wish they would have released this thing when the Pokemon Sun and Moon came out. Because if Nintendo would have released this when Sun and Moon came out, woo! They would have got people buying this that now aren't going to buy it because they either have a Switch or they're like, well, the 3DS is going to get discontinued at least in the next 2 years for the most part. It's going to be discontinued. So that's why some people may not buy it. That would have been the best option, honestly, releasing it when releasing it when the Pokemon Sun and Moon came out. When Pokemon Sun and Moon came out, they actually did a Black Friday sale for the small new 3DS. Not the new 3DS XL, but the small new 3DS. And you can see that was sold out stores like pretty much nationwide. So that tells you people still wanted 3DS. They should have really pushed that out when Sun and Moon came out. Also, this is not the first time Nintendo has actually did this. If you look back at their history, they did this with the GBA. When the DS came out, they actually released a Game Boy Micro. And they were telling people, oh yeah, there's GBA still going to be supported, but in the next year or a couple months down the road, they discontinued the Game Boy Advance. And that's probably going to be the case here. The 3DS, it does not have a long life ahead of it. It's pretty much going to be chopped short. They're just also having it as a safety blanket because we know, let's be honest, they're still worried since the Wii U flopped. They want to have a platform that's still going to make them money. Yes, the Switch is making them money right now, but can it keep its momentum up, and are people still going to buy the Switch? Because we don't know at E3 if they tank and don't have anything, or if they don't release the games in a timely manner. Because that was the problem with the Wii U. You can kind of say that they had the problem with that with the 3DS in the first year or year and a half, that games weren't rolling out fast enough and it was going slow. They actually had to take a price cut on the 3DS line. So that's why they're also making this thing just so they'll have a safety blanket, and they're trying to get people still on board with the whole 3DS thing because they know games are still rolling out. And they have so many games out in the wild for the system, they know that even old games that still sell, if it's a sell for the system, or if it's a sell that they're getting, any sales they're getting is good for the company, and that will make them money. That's what the whole thing is. So, are you asking me, do I hate the whole new 2DS XL? No, it's okay, and I understand what they're doing here. They're just trying to make a safety blanket for themselves. They're just trying to throw it out there for people who want it and things like that. I can honestly understand that. I just hope that they do cut support for the 3DS. I know it sounds crazy, listen to me here, but like I said, once you play a Switch, it's hard to go back, and I hope they don't support the 3DS for too long, but I guarantee you in the next year to year and a half, or even months down the road, maybe early 2018, whether it be early like January or early March or April, they cut support. I would not be surprised. And right now, Nintendo also knows Nintendo also knows that the Switch is selling like hotcakes just because Zelda Breath of the Wild, Mario Kart 8 is out. Things are looking up, and it's a hybrid system. So Nintendo knows that they can't keep on supporting the 3DS. And once sales start, more sales of the Switch keep on growing, they know that they're gonna have to cut support of the 3DS line altogether, because pretty soon there'll be enough people who own a Switch. There won't be a point to even keep making 3DS games altogether. But anyway, guys, that's just me summing up everything I wanted to talk about the 2DS, the new 2DS XL. I know that's a mouthful. I don't know why they're still calling it new. Maybe they're talking about the new features. They're not new, but they are the same features you're getting with the new 3DS and new 3DS XL. Anyway, guys, peace out. I'll see you guys later in my next video. I'm out, guys.